From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's the Amped EV Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Amped EV Podcast. My name is David and today we are amped to have two great guests on the show. It is Brandon Watt. He is the Marketing Director for Switch Vehicles, and Dan Vincent. He is a retired professor at St. Clair College and lead instructor for Switch Vehicles EV workshops. Let's get to the interview. Gentlemen, thank you both for being on the podcast today. Greatly appreciate your time. Brandon, I want to start with you. Obviously there are, EVs are very big right now, and there are lots of different programs out there for people to learn more about EVs, different training programs for technicians who might be interested. What makes the Switch Lab program different, and how have these technicians responded to this program?
That's a great question, Dave. So the program really stands out because of how hands-on and problem-based it is. Mm-hmm. So instead of just learning on a trainer or doing theory and textbooks, our program really empowers and inspires teachers to build a full electric vehicle that's street legal in their classroom. No one else I know of does that on this kind of scale, and having to learn the 12-volt system, the high-voltage system, how to make it drivable, regenerative braking, and the response with our teachers and students is overwhelmingly positive because they get to drive something they build in class, which you really don't get that opportunity. You can do robotics, but you're controlling it with a controller. This is your butt's in the seat, you're driving it, you're testing it, and students can say they've built an EV in class, and that really stands out.
Oh yeah, that is so killer. I mean, whether you're talking about a resume or you're just talking about bragging to your friends, I mean, that is one of the coolest things I think that you could possibly say as a student.
Dan can give a real experience from a teacher and his students on how they experience the program.
Well, the easiest way to say it is when they're done and they take their first drive, they say, "This is the coolest thing I've ever done." All through the build process and then the drive. It's a sense of accomplishment. Because when you first look at all the pieces spread out in different sections, you say, "We'll never get this together." It's like doing a model in the old days of all the pieces, and then it's together. Then you get behind the wheel and you step on the throttle pot. You can feel the torque. It's like taking off in a jet. Is the easiest way to say that.
Oh, it's so cool. And how have you found? I mean, you've been in this industry for a long time, Dan. How have you found engagement levels with students to be with this program as compared to some of the things that Brandon was describing earlier? Face buried in a textbook kind of thing.
The students are waiting at the door to get in at class time. That's, if you're from the teaching environment, attendance can be an issue. Cell phones can be an issue. And I have found when it's in the Switch build, you don't have to worry about cell phone use. You don't have to worry about attendance. They are there. You have to kick them out when it's in the class. And, that's a pretty refreshing.
I don't know a lot of teachers who could say that.
Yeah, it really shows the enthusiasm that the student has to learn this.
Absolutely. Brandon, as time marches on, of course, I would assume that your curriculum is going to change. How are you in ensuring that curriculum is up to date with industry standards?
So we make sure we go to events, conferences. We make sure we're in line with whatever manufacturers are coming out with. We keep in touch with them. We track industry standards. Like ADAS has been coming out. A lot of high voltage safety features have been coming out. So we've integrated those, like the manual service disconnect is now standard on our vehicles. And it's a tag out, lockout system so that teachers, when they're done with class for the day, they can just pull the plug out and then lock it in their locker or take it home with them, and they have that peace of mind that no one's going to mess with the vehicle. The high voltage system has been disengaged and is now low voltage. Those are really kind of the things we're trying to stay on top of and integrate to ensure that whatever students learn while building our vehicle, they will be very familiar with it in post-secondary or at an OEM like Rivian or Tesla. They'll recognize the component and be like, oh, I know what that component does.
That makes a ton of sense. You mentioned ADAS there. Are there actually ADAS components that are integrated into the curriculum today?
Not yet. That is one of the things on the burner. But right now, we just completed a safety overhaul. We did some pack contactors, manual service disconnect. We've integrated new curriculum to go over ASE's certified XEV level 1 and level 2 certification. So if students go through our course and our program, they are prepared to take that exam and have that certification now on their resume or CV.
Oh, that's killer. Dan, what are some of the, maybe more advanced concepts that have to do with the EV that you have found are better explained in a hands-on environment like this rather than, learning about them online or in a textbook?
All the aspects of the EV vehicle is hard to understand. The battery, if I had to sum up just one particular component, would be the battery and how the battery is configured to deliver the different voltages and the currents of different vehicles. Now, at our approach is that you need to talk the talk and then be able to walk the walk. So that you understand that the cell technology, how the cell is made, you understand how the battery pack design to achieve 800 volts or 400 volts, and in our case, around 100 volts, how the BMS will communicate on allowing how much current to come out of that battery at any given throttle position. Start understanding how the range and performance are two sides of the same coin, because the battery only has so much energy to it, and if you're taking it all for performance, you're going to lose on the range. And if you leave it all for the range, you're going to lose a little on the performance. So we developed that switch, different hands on. Sorry, I'm talking with my hands here and you can't see it. You just see my head bob around. At Switch, we have developed different small training packages, I'll call it, to help explain how the battery S&P, series and parallel, works, how the battery can deliver its 8 times capacitance rating, its C rating. How do I balance the cells? Why do I need to balance more in a series than on a parallel? All those are explained, and we've taken it from the huge battery pack down to an 8-cell battery pack. And that way it's easier for each student to get hands-on, to touch it. You really start to understand how something works when you touch it. I'm a firm believer in that. Once you can touch it, you can feel it, you can say, oh, that's how that system functions.
I think that makes a ton of sense, to relate it to something in my life. It's I didn't go fishing for the first time until I was, adolescent teenager. And, at the time it's like, okay, I've seen videos of guys fishing, but, I wouldn't say I knew how to fish until you actually go out there and you cast your first line and, you bait your first hook. And I would imagine it's very similar.
Yes. And that's the approach we've taken. That, first talk to theory, make sure the safety's involved, make sure they know about PPE and why I wear PPE and when I need to wear PPE, and then how do I check for the system is off? How do I make sure that the system is now no longer a high voltage charge? How to calculate the capacitor time that keeps the system live even after I've turned the power off. Do a live dead live test. They'll actually perform those tests and understand that Brandon talked about service disconnect. Well, do I need to wear my gloves in the service disconnect? Well, yes, because there's still a potential of energy there. And in our vehicle, we use what we call a pack contactor, which is a electromagnetic switch that opens up the battery so that there is no current flow. And we also have the service disconnect. So we're kind of have a redundant system to make double sure that there is no energy left that somebody can get high voltage charged.
That is very smart. And of course, in this kind of environment, that's obviously something that people would be concerned about.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
So obviously, you have gotten a lot of traction with this program. Dan, what are you excited for? What's next? What's coming up next for Switch?
Okay. Dave, we're coming out with a comprehensive vehicle conversion workshop where it's innovated. We are using this workshop to bridge the theory knowledge into the real world application. Students, teachers, service technicians, EV specialists, anybody that is interested in taking a internal combustion engine drivetrain and moving it to an electrical drivetrain will take this course. By taking the online web version theory first, everybody will come to the course at the same knowledge level. When they come to our facility, they'll be actually converting a vehicle from internal combustion engine to electric drive. We will talk about weight distribution. We will measure. We will make sure that the driving dynamics stay the same. Is the braking capability able to stop the vehicle with regen and without regen? Those are all the things that are coming out, and it is very close to being launched. It's a complete process of transitioning a gas-powered vehicle to an electric-powered vehicle. All hands-on reinforced.
That is just killer. Fantastic. Brandon, anything to add there?
No, Dan covered it perfectly. It's a great opportunity for schools to use their donor vehicles or vehicles they've had laying around that they haven't done anything with for a while. I've traveled around the country and seen a lot of auto shops. There's donor vehicles everywhere. Most of the time, students retrofit them, build them back up, troubleshoot them, and then sell them to help sponsor their programs.
Oh, very cool.
But this gives them a whole new avenue to do a conversion on the donor vehicle and then sell it, or just do the conversion over and over again and have that donor vehicle be their platform for teaching EV conversions in a consistent and repeatable manner.
Fantastic. I love that. I just love that idea. Very cool. Brandon, building and testing a fully functional EV, I would expect this is like the ultimate test of one's skills in this department. Where do students tend to go from here? They've taken the class, they built the EV, they had a great time. What's the next step?
Yeah, so the program prepares students for a multitude of next steps. We've had students who've got the high voltage training and decided they didn't want to go into EVs. They went into power utility companies. Those skill sets translate really well to engineering as well. Students really understand in our program that they can modify the vehicle. They can create their own prototypes, their own wiring diagrams. It's a platform. And so we've had students go into electrical engineering, automotive engineering. But the most typical career path they go towards is OEM automotive, whether they go work for Toyota, go into Toyota's training program, or they go to Tesla's or Rivian's. That's a really common path that they take because those jobs are in need. And there's a big workforce gap right now as we catch up to the EV craze or wave, if you want to call it. And so that's kind of the general route students take. But I think, Dan, do you have any examples of students and where they went after your program?
Yeah. Yes. So we've had some students go to battery manufacturers, electric charging companies. So they put up the charging stations. Brandon, you said renewable energies, green technology, government, and then research and development. Not the field is open, and we haven't even talked about agricultural, mining, all those things that use electric vehicles. And according to How Did They Build This, I watched on Discovery Channel that we're going to have flying electric cars. So they say. Which could be the next thing, right?
It could be, yeah, absolutely.
But going back to some of part of your question, that projections for demand is that 750,000 EV trained professionals by the year 35.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, there's a big shortage not only of students but trainers.
You know, and that's, I think you make a really great point as far as the training goes, specifically. Brandon, you know, are people reaching out to you? How are you, how are you getting more of these trainers like Dan kind of under your belt to ensure that these trainers are going to exist moving forward, and that, that supply is going to meet the demand?
Well, a lot of the time we actually use our teachers. A lot of teachers who run our programs, like Dan, have become our certified Switch Lab, and they run the workshop where they teach the teachers how to run the program. Because when we offer our programs and it's integrated into a school, a teacher gets a 5-day workshop, and then they come out to one of our facilities, and someone like Dan will teach them for 5 days how to run the program safely with students, and they get to build the full vehicle in 5 days and drive it. So the teachers get to experience the full program in 5 days, and then they can go back to their school and instill that in their students. I'm not sure how many students go into training after our program, but a lot of our teachers are certified ASC trainers. We are training teachers around the country who have that opportunity now if they do want to leave education and go into more of the workforce and professional development fields. We have had teachers who have told us they've done that, where they're like, I got my 10, 15 years of teaching in, I want to go train some people. I really like the training aspect for like post-secondary or like trade skills.
Very, very, very cool. How does somebody get, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you if, they have a son or daughter who might be interested in this, or maybe the student themselves, hey, I don't see this in my school. What's the next step for them?
The best way to reach out to us is go to our website, www.theswitchlab.com. All the information about our programs, our workshops, our lab kits are on the website. They can just shoot us an email or fill out a form. Our phone lines are always open, and we talk to people all the time. We've had students at events who've come up to us and told us that they're going to go back to their teacher and bug them about getting this program. But that's the best way, is to go to our website and start talking with us. And we're here to help you. Every school is different. Every program is going to look different, and so we cater our programs to the needs of the school and the needs of the local workforce.
Man, well, you guys are doing great work. I wish so badly that something like this existed when I was in school. So highly encourage everybody to check this one out. This is very, very cool stuff. Thank you both for being on the program. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Take care. Okay, what a cool program. I mean, we are going to need more EV certified technicians. It's just the way it is. And programs like this is a great avenue to start these students down that path. So I am all for it. I cannot wait to see how this evolves and just grows and becomes such a great thing for anybody who is interested in EVs. Thank you for watching. Take care.